2001. For McDermott, though, it's played 1, won 1 so far for Harlequins. For Noble at Wigan, it's played 3, lost 3, and the pressure is building. The headlines, though, have already been made this weekend. Huddersfield won at Bradford for the first time in 40 years. Hull beat the Catalan Dragons to move joint top of the table at this early stage. It's 24 years since Hull KR last won at St Helens, and Wakefield destroyed Warrington. The salary cap is more than doing its job. Super League's third round is completed tonight. Castleford and Salford will kick off in half an hour. And more evidence of Super League's growing equilibrium at the early stage with the league table. Leeds, Wakefield, Hull joint top. The top 8 just might have a few more twists and turns to go yet before playoff time, and some of the so-called big guns will hope so. Warrington are rock bottom. Wigan and Bradford and the Catalan Dragons, who finished third last year, find themselves in the bottom half of the table. Tomorrow, by the way, a big chance for Super League to gain credibility. Leeds as champions take on Australia's finest, the Manly Sea Eagles. It's the World Club Challenge, and we'll be with them from 5:30. The game kicks off at 6 at Ellen Road. OK, let's take a check on the two teams on duty here tonight. First of all, Wells is the full-back for the Quins. Then they go Melling, ex-Wigan. Gaffer, Howell and Sharp, Dawn and Orr, ex-Wigan. Forwards, Tamata, Randall and Ward. Club, Robinson and Purdom, the skipper. And the bench, it's Louis McCarthy, Scarsbrook, Golden, Gale and Heckenberg. And the coach, Brian McDermott. Now Wigan, Richards at full-back, Roberts, Bailey, Carmont and young Ainscough. Smith is alongside Luluai. Forwards, Fielden, Riddell, Coley, Hock, Joel Tompkins and O'Loughlin. And the bench here, Palliasina, Hansen, O'Carroll and young Sam Tompkins. The coach is Brian Noble. There's Brian McDermott making his way out to watch this game, which is vital, only the second one for the Quins. And a familiar face in the stands here tonight, Andy Farrell, Wigan legend. England Rugby Union might be playing around about the same time as this, but Andy Farrell has chosen Harlequins against Wigan. Good on you, Paz. Good crowd in, always is when the Wigan Warriors are in town. Harlequins, though, their supporters hoping that tonight will be the night for them. And the Wigan fans, they will be hoping exactly the same. 3 matches at the start of the season, no points, it's hardly Wigan-esque. But Brian Noble's confident that things will turn around eventually. And out comes the Warriors team, led by their captain, Sean O'Loughlin. His 200th appearance of his career. And a big following from Wigan has come down here to see them claim what they hope will be their first victory, but it will be difficult, Steve-O.
It won't be easy. Brian Noble, their coach, is fully aware that Harlequins are prepared exceptionally well in the off-season. Brian McDermott made no secret of the fact that if they don't make the top 8 and the playoffs, then it will be classified as a disappointment indeed. I watched them play against Castleford in their opening game, and I must say their defence has certainly improved. And when you throw into the mix the fact that Luke Dawn, the opportunist, back out there, Brian Noble will be fully aware that this Harlequin side is capable of scoring tries. The biggest problem for the Warriors, of course, is can they get their half-back combination, Tim Smith and Thomas Luluai, working? If the forwards can lay the platform, then Wigan should produce some good football, but it will not be easy against a very tough Quins outfit tonight.
Pat Richards, who has returned to the side, and his goal kicking might be important. He gets them underway then. And, well, they won 12-8 at Castleford 2 weeks ago, did Harlequins. And they had to be content with a friendly against Manly last week as the NRL champions warmed up for Leeds tomorrow. And Harlequins here, when they had their first team on duty in the opening 40 minutes against Manly, they put up a very spirited display for Brian McDermott. And they turned round 20-0 ahead, but Manly turned it all round in the second half.
Well, they brought on the big guns, did they? But surprising to see the captain out there, Rob Purdom. He's got a problem with a rib injury. There's little doubt he will be playing tonight with painkillers. But he's a tough hombre,
It's a great chase by Robinson from the kick from Chad Randall that Richards fielded, and this now is young Sean Ainscough, who scored a fantastic try last week against Castleford, albeit on a losing side, but he tiptoed down the touchline, a la Martin Afire, who is here with us tonight, watching both of his former clubs, of course. Quins in a different guise. They were London Broncos when Martin was playing for them, but Wigan, they have always been cherry and white. They've always been Wigan, and Stuart Fielden has lost the ball.
Well, they'll be furious, Brian Noble. The first opportunity to kick down and get a good chase. And now they're giving the Quins the opportunity to put the pressure on.
3 years ago, Stuart Fielden was man of the match in the World Club Challenge for the Bradford Bulls against the West Tigers. And he has just conceded the first penalty of the evening as well. Interference at the play of the ball.
Well, the one thing about the French referee, Mr. Alibert, he doesn't like anybody messing around, and not surprisingly the Quins have gone for the quick tap.
And here they are in possession with Tamata, who is driving the ball towards those Wigan sticks.
2 feet!
And Randall waits at dummy half for Harlequins. Fires the ball then to Danny Orr. Danny Orr, short ball. And Robinson was the man on the end of it. 8 years in the NRL with Roosters and the Parramatta Eels. This now is Matt Gaffer. Great ball away. I think he's hit the corner flag though. I think Chris Melling has hit the corner flag. And the referee agrees. He hasn't even referred that upstairs to the video referee. It's a scrum down head and feed to the Wigan Warriors.
Well, he's surprised, but I think you'll see that his foot has hit the whitewash as well. Wonderful work from the touch judge. Not looking at the football, he's looking at his feet. He's got it absolutely spot on.
Scrum to Wigan because the touch judge and referee agreed that Melling was in touch.
You know, Eddie, in any sport, the team's confidence is affected if it continues to lose games. And for that reason, Wigan need to start this game particularly well. That's the second mistake they made inside their own half, inside the first 3 minutes of this game. It's not a positive start for the Cherry and Whites.
It is not. That was Tim Smith's mistake. This is Danny Ward. This is a glorious opportunity for Harlequins here, as the ball is fired out wide and reaches Tony Clubb, who is one of the young men that Brian McDermott has got great hopes of. Luke Dawn finds Danny Orr. Danny Orr will come back this way. High-stepping run. It's only though as far as Joel Tompkins.
It's not bad when you do a step and come back in, but you need someone coming on in the second phase. He was looking for someone to pass to there. Good work from Purdham.
Yes, keeps the ball alive, and this is a chance here for the winger Sharp, but a forward pass, says Thierry Alibert.
I just think that the Wigan side are a bit of a wounded animal at the moment. I think having held the Harlequin side out for a couple of sets is going to really give them some confidence, because that's what they really need, this Wigan side. They need confidence.
Well, these are the mistakes. Fielden losing possession, and then you see Smith. That is just basics, letting the side down. That's been the problem so far for Brian Noble, the Wigan coach. You cannot build on anything when your star players, well-paid players as well, coming up with errors like that. Is it nerves, Martin?
It's nerves. You know, they've taken a lot of criticism in recent weeks, but I think today is definitely a watershed for Wigan, because after today I think they've got Bradford at home, got Leeds away, so I think now is the time for them to stand up and be counted.
4.5 minutes gone, and this is Riddell for Wigan. Harlequins, the last time they won their opening 2 matches of the league campaign, 1999, in the days when they were the London Broncos.
Eddie, when you talk about how Wigan have changed from this year to last, that's a great example. Last year, Trent Barrett's long kicking game was one of the better in Super League. Without him now, when they're trying to kick to gain ground, they aren't quite as effective. Both Tim Smith and Thomas Ludow have a very good short kicking game when they get close to opponent's line, but in attempting to gain ground, neither of them have quite mastered that facet of the game this year.
5 minutes gone, it's 0-0 here at the Twickenham Stoop. Brian Noble, who we go, oh, hang on, here is a break on here from Tony Clubb, and Tony Clubb gets the ball away to Howell, and he has dropped it.
I don't think he dropped it. I think he intended to try to get the foot to the ball. He knew he couldn't get. I think Roberts just got to him. It's a great break. Yeah, he didn't drop it. He knew he just didn't have the pace. Good work from Amos Roberts. Had to be as well. It was try. All over the place there, but what about the neat little pass? Superb stuff.
Little grimace from Brian McDermott as Hock offloads in almost an impossible situation.
Great work, wasn't it? Tony Clubb racing through that gap. Immaculate little short pass from Chad Randall.
Here's Thomas Luluai. Thomas Luluai driving up towards the halfway line. Quick play the ball. This is Riddell. Riddell taking on Randall. Great pass away round the corner to Carmont. Carmont has got Richards in support, but they made a bit of a meal of it, the two of them, and the referee will say that was a knock-on.
They'll take the first one, which came from the Wigan outfit. Well, these mistakes they just eat away at you as well, don't they?
What was positive, though, for Wigan, Eddie, was the fact that Thomas Luluai was starting to take on the defence. I think he's at his best when he runs at defenders, rather than to create players for, his teammates. If he can take on the defence, he's one of the most difficult small players. He's strong and he's compact and he sidesteps particularly well. If he does that, Wigan, I'm sure, can make ground.
Oh, weak pass, poor pass from Harlequins, putting themselves under pressure. Went behind everybody then. Tony Clubb was the man who rescued the situation. Good pressure here in defence from the Wigan Warriors. Third tackle gone. Randall is the dummy half. Ward will trundle the ball forward, Danny Ward. And he is in his second season at Harlequins. Seems really to have settled down. As Purdom will drive it forward again for the Quins. Gets to halfway on the last tackle here.
Big problem for Wigan in their defensive line. They're coming down this this left-hand side, should I say, the Quins, and they are finding that the Wigan's defence, they're not moving up on this short area. Three occasions they've found a gap.
That's Ainscough, Sean Ainscough, 19 years of age, debut against Castleford last week, a 50-metre try. Hock goes down the challenge of 3. Lachlan gets the ball away to Joel Tompkins.
Good tackle from Howell. Touch high, but went right across the chest.
Tim Smith at dummy half. Here is a drive in now from Eamon O'Carroll. And Luluai will hoist the kick. Well claimed by Chris Melling.
You get the feeling that Wigan seems to have weathered the early spell from the Quins and really seems to be getting into the game now. I think if Mark Riddell can get out of dummy half and get his team going forward, this could be the day that Wigan maybe turn things around. Another
penalty against Stuart Fielden, though. He was too late getting off the player, and then he had another little push at Matt Gaffer.
It's just sheer frustration. Imagine what it's like for the coach, Brian Noble. This has been the pattern throughout this season. Not been the best start for the Warriors, that is for sure.
You mentioned Brian Noble. He's coming to the end of his third anniversary in charge of Wigan. Life is totally different with them rather than it was at his hometown Bradford. It was success all the way at Bradford.
10 meters! Wait! No,
this is Wells. John Wells, good scampering run from dummy half from the Harlequins winger.
Another example of this Wigan defence on their right-hand side. They're just all at sea, they're hanging back.
Purdom infield, it goes to Tamata. Tamata is pulled to the ground by Eamon O'Carroll. Randall's the dummy half. He finds Luke Dawn. Dawn's in great form, finds Purdom short. Oh, and Purdom offloaded.
Picked up well by Amos Roberts. 2 occasions he's come to the rescue of the Cherry and White. Well, it'll be of concern to Brian McDermott, the Quins coach, because they've applied the pressure, they've had plenty of opportunities to score. But look at that table, it's 0-0.
10 minutes gone, and this is Luluai. Gives it to Gareth Hock. Hock being forced back by ferocious Harlequins defence.
Until Poliacina comes on the field, Eddie, for Wigan, Hock's the major danger that they provide when he carries the ball forward. And it looks as though Quins have decided to test Tim Smith in defence for this game. Mike's talked about the number of times they come to the left-hand side. That's because where Tim Smith is defending, they're going to really ask so many questions of him to make the right decisions and make the right tackles.
Great run here from the young winger, Will Sharp, and he's still going. The ball is lost though, and it's a knock-on.
Well, that's a shame, because it was a wonderful effort there by Sharp. And he knows it just overcooked it slightly. Never any chance. It was good work, wasn't it, by Gareth Hogg? Put the shoulder right into him. He'll be disappointed with that. He'll be pleased.
Stuart, back 10 meters with me. More. Okay.
This is amazing. Just lost control of it, did the young winger. Talent, though.
Wigan scrum just 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Never in 5 years at Bradford did Brian Noble lose 3 in a row, yet it's happened in each of his 4 seasons at Wigan. In fact, when he arrived in April 2006, he won the first 1, then lost 6 in a row, 5 in Super League and 1 in the Challenge Cup, but he kept them in the Super League, which was the important task that he had that year.
10 meters!
This is Tim Smith. Tim Smith to Riddell, and Riddell gives it then to Joel Tompkins.
Much better from Wigan. It was a beautiful offload from the centre, Phil Bailey.
Wait, go.
The first real opportunity to apply some
Quick
action.
hands. Good quick hands. This is Carmont, fed by O'Loughlin. Here is Ainscough, and Ainscough will go in for the first try. That's a magnificent try from the youngster. He's only 19. He went on the 2008 Academy Tour to Australia. He learnt his trade early in his career and his life at the Wigan St Jude's Amateur Club. They still produce great players in that part of the world, and Sean Ainscough is the latest. Made his debut last week and got a great try, and he's just edged Wigan ahead here in London against Harlequins.
Put it down to the wonderful break on the right-hand side. Phil Bailey got the winger away, and once they slung it across out wide, beautiful stuff by Carman. Not the best by Melling. Melling was caught in 2 minds. He should have stayed right outside in front of the winger. Watch him just dip in. Can't do that. Watch him dip. Hang on, you're supposed to be out there. It had to be finished. That was a good in and out by Ainscough. Very, very talented indeed.
He is indeed, Sean Ainscough, and Brian Noble believes he'll be playing quite a bit of first-team rugby league this year in the Super League. He's made a wonderful start to life in the first team. 2 tries, and Martin, you would have admired that.
Absolutely. I know that Melling didn't get caught ball watching, but it's a great finish by Ainscough there. He could have went inside, but he just showed to go inside, went outside, a natural winger. I thought when Wigan let Mark Calderwood go, they were without a franchise winger in their team, the likes of Boston and Henderson Gill. But I think this lad could be the next Wigan sensation on the wing.
Big rap from Martin Afire for the 19-year-old, and that was the difference between Wigan's victory and defeat last week, the goal kicking. Pat Richards has returned, and he's popped that one over from the sideline, and Wigan lead here by 6 points to 0.
Left, right, all. Right, cheers.
Well, Melling, he wanted to get involved with Carmont, and there you can see it's only a step. It's a split second, but Ainscough in and out. Look at that. Hesitation by John Wells. That was a tremendous try.
Great try, wonderful kick from Richards, who appears to enjoy playing at the Twickenham Stoop. He kicked 9 goals from 9 attempts on this particular ground last year.
It's all about taking your chances, Eddie. And Harlequins had 3 or 4 opportunities. They didn't get over the whitewash, didn't score any points, but the first real attempt by the Warriors, and they've come up with the 6 points.
They can't put Fielden down here. They still can't put Fielden down. He's looking to offload, but there wasn't anybody then giving him any assistance in the Wigan jersey.
Well, they were just stood watching.
Gareth Hogg tries to bump and go, but he's brought down. Quick play the ball. This is Riddell. Riddell is halted on the last tackle.
Wait.
Luluai waits. Here it comes to Tim Smith.
Okay,
Up goes the high kick out wide. A tester here. And that flicked off Amos Roberts. It will be the turnover, because it was on the last.
Not a bad option.
Test for Will Sharp, wasn't it?
Certainly was. Amos Roberts, he went for it anyway, but just went a little bit early.
Okay. Yeah.
Amazing. You scored a try, builds in the confidence. Different look there. Something that we haven't seen already this year was Mark Riddell running from dummy half, testing the Quins' defence. You've got to ask the question.
This is Will Sharp for Harlequins.
Wait. Go. Hold on.
Wigan's Riddell and Luluai running from dummy half early in the opening quarter and out. And Randall just having the one little push. Dawn with a long kick downfield, great kick too, outside the 40, didn't make the sideline anyway, runs dead in goal.
He probably wanted it to go into touch, but as you can see, they've got their full line-up on that 30-metre line.
Palestina is about to enter the fray.
So often last year, the big fella Palestina came on, just changed the game around for Wigan on so many occasions.
He's out there now.
You know, you talk about Brian Noble in regards to that, you know, his old glory at Bradford. Let's not forget that, you know, in the last two seasons, he was only 80 minutes away from a grand final on both occasions.
Absolutely, he's got them to the playoffs. That's 2 years.
They did have Trent Barrett playing for them last year. Let's not forget that.
This is Palestina. Last tackle here for Wigan. Riddell dummy half. Finds a lock-in. Up it goes. Again, another tester here for Will Sharp. Oh, he claimed it well, the youngster. Oops, and takes a bit of a risk. He found David Howell, but that could have gone anywhere.
Sometimes you can be a little bit overconfident. Took it well, it's Sharp, and obviously Brian Noble feels that Mr. Sharp is a bit of a weak link. That's the second occasion they put him under the high bomb.
This is Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. Sharp watching the touchline as Melling takes it forward again for the Quins.
Good work by O'Loughlin there. So important, first and second marker plays. They've got to work hard, especially with the style that Chad Randall has. He always likes to offload a very, very flat pass.
Dawn finds Howell. He's round the first defender. That ball was touched a couple of times. Oh!
This will be play on.
Could be a try then if it is. It could easily be a try. He'll have to go to the screen, Thierry Alibert.
Well, Chad Randall
has touched down, but he has to check how it all came about. Was there a knock-on by the Harlequins player? There could easily have been.
Well, it's going all over the place.
That's off.
That's touched it. And that's gone back. No, I think it was going back.
From Luke Dawn.
Oh, I'm not so sure. Let's see. Howell get back on the inside. Luluai takes it. That's play on up until this point.
That goes forward.
Well, it is going forward there. It should be wiped off. Tompkins gets a hand to it. Good work from Howell back on the inside. Luluai definitely touches that. Now, is that classified? It's going forwards as far as I'm concerned. It should be wiped away. Ben Thaler is the video referee tonight. Not the best
They're
attempt
watching the grounding.
It's a try,
that means that they're going to give it. They classified that it is not a knock-on. Well, any youngster watching out there, take notice of the fact that Randall continued on, didn't stop. He went on, made sure put on. This could be a TOI. This will be amazing.
Ben Thaler's the video referee, and he has given the try. He has ruled that it was not a knock-on by Luke Dawn, that the ball went backwards. Chad Randall gets the try, and Harlequins are right back in the match.
Well, there's no way the ball went backwards.
Well, I'm with you, Phil. It certainly looked as though Dawn was reaching for it, and the momentum going through. We often
talk by the Wigan man. That's going backwards. This is the one.
Well,
look at the picture. Look at the seats there.
Yeah, but it's classified this momentum rule.
You could have said, if he said that Luke Dawn was going to catch it before it hit the ground, I could maybe understand that argument, Eddie.
But he has ruled that that ball went backwards off Luke Dawn. That's the way he has ruled.
Without a doubt, Ben Thaler is the man.
Just because he says it so doesn't make it so. The ball definitely went forward.
It's a missed conversion by Danny Orr, but Harlequins are on the board. It's 6-4 to the Wigan Warriors.
Well, an enormous stroke of luck.
It's all about opinions, Martin, these days. Video referees and referees in the middle. Opinions.
It's all about opinions, but
and we've all got one.
It's definitely forward. As we see here, he takes the pass, and the ball's behind him, but it definitely goes forward.
You mean it was in flight going forward even though it was behind the player, yeah?
Absolutely.
Ben Taylor ruled that it was not a knock-on, and that's why Harlequins have the try. 6-4 Wigan, coming up to the midway point of this first half. It's been interesting, to say the least, so far.
I haven't had opportunity to mention the momentum rule, but...
Well, that wasn't anything to do with momentum, apparently.
It's
going backwards, you said.
I'll ask Mr. Ben Taylor.
You know, you just seen the two impact players collide there. Paliasina for Wigan attempted to make the tackle on McCarthy Scars, but for the Quins. Those are the guys who've been sent on, really, to change the game and put some momentum behind their sides. Different style of players, different physiques. Who's going to make the difference?
Great run from Randall. He's found Wells. Roberts, I beg your pardon, Richards stands his ground. Quick play the ball Harlequins want, they get it with Dawn. Here is Danny Orr. They go wide, if they flush it wide they will score. They'll score anyway with Gaffer. Matt Gaffer is in for Harlequins. The game's turned upside down for Wigan in the last 2 minutes. There's nothing to dispute about that try. Matt Gaffer, 2 in 2 minutes. Randall first with a slightly questionable one, but nothing questionable about that. Matt Gaffer over the line, and he gets the try. He missed the last 13 rounds of 2008, but he's back with a bang this year.
Like we mentioned earlier, you take your opportunity. Danny Orr with the long pass, and I'm afraid that Wigan defence just held back. Did not anticipate it. Danny Orr couldn't believe it. There was no one near him. You could see how Carmont, who should be opposite Matt Gaffer, he'd gone AWOL. He'd gone completely the wrong area, the wrong angle, and Matt Gaffer could not believe it. What a strange game rugby league can be. They were under the cosh. It looked as though that Randall's try was going to be turned down by the officials. Ben Taylor says, hey, okay, it's a try. And before you can get your breath back, the man who's about to try the conversion comes up with a beautiful pass that sends in Gaffer for a try. Take your opportunities, Eddie. That's what rugby league is all about.
Well, it's Danny Orr who is doing the kicking, which indicates that there must be a problem with Rob Purdom. Remember, Danny Orr missed with his first attempt. He hasn't missed with that. It's 1 from 1. And Danny Orr, a prodigious kicker in his days at Castleford, but that is only the second goal that Danny Orr has kicked in his Harlequins career thus far. There must be a problem with Rob Purdom.
Well, it is a problem. We know that he started this game with injured ribs. Maybe it's so painful that he just can't get the swinging of the boot in the correct manner.
Well, Matt Gaffer's not worried who kicks the goals, but there is Rob Purdom, the skipper, who is the man really who is the heartbeat of this Harlequins team. But Quins have suddenly gone from 6 down to 10-6 up.
And the biggest problem for Brian Noble is, as we mentioned, the inability to get their defensive line as a unit. Some are moving forwards, other hesitation, and as we saw on that occasion, George Carmont came out of the line on an angle, left an enormous gap.
Well, Brian McDermott said before a ball was kicked this year, or a ball was passed, that Harlequins are in this competition not to make the numbers up this year. They are in it to win it.
You're right, Eddie. It's the kick-off. We start the game with the kick-off.
Justin Morgan has obviously used the same scriptwriter, by the way, at Elkingston Rovers. He has said exactly the same, and we all know what happened last night at St Helens. Good kick down the line.
Certainly is such a crafty player, isn't he, Chad Randall?
Chad Randall, he's the heart and soul of this Harlequin side, the spiritual leader, great kick downfield there. I always used to think that number 7s, halfbacks, were the most important player in Super League, but I think now it's number 9s. We see all over league, sometimes you have 2 world-class number 9s like Lees with Badeiras and Diskin. But Chad Randall, even before that try, he was the man who got out of dummy half, made the break, which led to the try.
So it's Wigan scrum feed. They get possession from the scrum.
Brian Noble's forced to make a tactical different approach to the game, Eddie, because Mark Riddell, you see the hooker having passed that ball. In the game so far for Wigan, has left the field after about 20 minutes in the first half. They've had another specialist hooker, McLaurin, very often to come on the field. He's obviously suspended tonight, and Noble's elected to keep Riddell on the field for a little longer before I think he introduces young Sam Tompkins.
Indeed so, and he's got a World Cup winning hooker, hasn't he, in Thomas Luluwai, who can fill in. Here he is now, playing at scrum half, but he did play hooker in the World Cup final against Australia, and won it, of course. And there he is at dummy half, Thomas Luluwai. Good hands, Coley for Wigan, but going nowhere under the challenge from Randall. Up it goes from Richards.
It's a poor kick.
Straight down the throat of John Wells. Let's go down to Bill. I think maybe news of Purdham, Bill.
Well, I can't add a great deal to what you've been speculating on, because the Quins sideline crew are being pretty cagey about what the situation is, but I think it's pretty clear that Rob Purdham is not totally fit or not totally comfortable when it comes to the physical side of goal kicking. Something about that which probably isn't, he's not quite ready for. They won't tell me a great deal more than that, other than that Danny Orr has been kicking goals very well in training this week, obviously in readiness for the fact that he's going to be needed to kick goals.
Fair enough, and he is a goal kicker, as we said, of some reputation in the past, but ever since he came to Harlequins, and indeed while he was at Wigan he didn't kick many either. This is Dawn with another high kick, and that's not a great kick from him either, but it fooled Richards. Now, did that touch Richards? He has, according to Thierry Alibert. It's a goal line dropout, this.
Well, it's pretty hard to see from there, but I suppose the benefit of the doubt has gone. He's played at it, and I think he's probably right.
Yeah, touched it.
Yeah. Well, it was a nothing kick. There was no pressure applied. It's a difficult time for Brian Noble, because 4 or 5 occasions we've seen the ball go to ground. They don't seem confident in their passing movement.
Well, the kick is to the halfway line. Dawn gives the pass inside. Wigan were slightly sluggish, if I am hypercritical, with the chase from the goal line, but they got there in the end to bring down Daniel Heckenberg. This now is Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook, trying to make a big impact in the match tonight off the bench. Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. This is Purdham. Well, he mightn't be up to the physical challenge of goal kicking, but he's certainly up to the physical challenge of the tackles, that is for sure. He's the man who makes them tick. Randall to Dawn. Dawn finds Danny Orr. Orr gets it wide. Here is Gaffer again. Wigan muscle up in defence this time. Now it's with Luke Dawn. They're going to switch the play. They're trying to stretch Wigan. Purdham dumps the ball back. Danny Orr. It's a great move, this. That was touched by a Wigan player. Was it 6 to go? No. It's the last one. It's Louis McCarthy-Scarsbrook. Not the last one. It's 4, he says. Here's Gaffer. Gaffer trying to get the ball back to Robinson. The defence stands firm this time. This is the last. And he'll float the kick in. Well, that bounces everywhere. Paliasina comes to the rescue. And Paliasina just clears up the danger for the Wigan Warriors.
Well, good scrambling defence on that occasion. Not the best kick through, was it? But can they get out anywhere near the halfway line, Wigan? They've got to regroup. To me, I'm with you, Eddie. They look a little bit lost out there. No one seems to be talking to each other. No one's taking control. And when you've got the likes of Thomas Luluwai out there, Tim Smith, and the hooker, Mark Riddell, they've got the experience to be saying, hey, come on, let's do this, let's do that.
That was never a play the ball from Paliasina. He put the ball on the floor then and just stepped over it. Here is John Wells. Watch the chase like this time. Well, not particularly energetic, was it?
Well, they stopped about halfway through and just anticipated where Wells was going to go.
Will Sharp has moved in off the line.
Almost
buried by Paliasina's weight and Coley. Melling gets the ball away. Good hands again from Quins. This is Danny Orr. Gets as far as O'Loughlin. Danny Orr eventually goes down.
Look a lot sharper this year, don't they, the Quins? The support players certainly improved. Their defence, that is one thing that they were lacking last year at certain periods in the game.
Quick play the ball again. Here goes Randall. Good run. Good run finds Howell. Important tackle. He's lost it forward as well. It was a very important tackle there by Phil Bailey. Here is Pat Richards.
Yeah, ball and all. Bailey really put the shoulder into him.
glad to have Bailey back. He missed last week. He's been in the second row for the first couple, but he is playing in the centres here tonight. Coley managed to offload.
And even though Coley offloaded that ball, you know, Wigan players, they weren't aware. Good work from Luluai.
Great run. Bailey, by the way, playing in the centres for Wigan tonight for the first time since last May. Here is O'Loughlin on his shoulder. Was Harrison Hansen. And the ball is lost.
Was it stolen by Howell? Either way, they've come up with possession.
Randall to Wells for Harlequins.
That was a golden opportunity that Wigan needed.
Good contest though, isn't it?
It certainly is. Very even indeed.
End-to-end stuff. Here is Purdom. He went on the World Cup tour, of course, did Rob Purdom. Was a great tourist as well, by the way. Talking of things, Australia Leeds against Manly tomorrow night. Sky Sports 1.
Just a little bit slow in the marker position. Well, he's seen a not standing square. All came about by the ability for the Quins to play the ball quickly. That's another thing that I've noticed this year, Martin, that the Quins seem to be a lot more energetic when they want to get up and play the ball quickly.
Yeah, they're energetic. They've obviously worked really hard in the off-season conditioning programs. You say Luke Thorne is it's only 2 or 3 games into the season, but he's playing like a man who probably wants to put his hand up for the man of steel this year.
Oh, that's a quick play. The ball here is Randall. Short ball that's knocked forward. And, well, that's going to be the first knock-on he will play, surely.
I think he's going to give Wigan the head and feed.
Well, his signal indicated that. Look, he has given Wigan head and feed here. Oh, it bounced off the Quins man.
If that's definitely not a knock-on, he's given that as a knock-on.
Yeah, Danny Orr got the fingertips to it.
It collided with the dummy runner, didn't it? And then we get the knock-on.
Just a little bit too fancy with this delayed pass.
No foot. Stay behind.
Well, there's Mr. Alibert saying no push.
I think was it no push or was it front foot?
Run! Move, run! Go.
I think he was telling Harlequins not to push in the pack.
Second! And out! Oh, go!
It's Luluai, and here is Richards.
Third! Move!
Now this is where Wigan can consolidate. They can apply the pressure, try to get a second set of 6. Not with an aimless high bomb, but to put it into the corner, the in-goal area.
And it might just be a coincidence, but Wigan do look more dangerous in the last few minutes now that Thomas Luluai's in around behind the play of the ball and starting to run in that low to the ground manner that he has.
Play on.
Well claimed by Chris Melling, the high kick from Tim Smith.
To be fair, they allowed him a lot of ground to get to the 22-metre mark.
Here's Will Sharp again. Real chance to make a name for himself this year, Will Sharp. He's 7 tries in just 15 appearances in 2008.
I like the fact that the youngster goes looking for work. It's always nice to see a winger who won't just sit on the whitewash throughout the game.
Well, interesting here, just looking down beneath us, and Rob Purdom has left the field for Harlequins. This is Louis McCarthy Scarsbrook. I think it's Jason Golden who has come on for him. There's Purdom. Golden comes on for his debut for the Quins.
Okay.
Dab down the line. High bounce. Richards deals with it. Good chase.
Field position, such an important facet. Luke Dawn reads the game well, pushed it into the corner, made sure that it was going to be awkward for the fullback Richards. And when you've got defence like this, it's difficult for the Cherry and Whites to get any momentum forward.
Hogg manages to offload the ball. That's George Carmont, isn't it? Yes. He will play it.
Play on.
Good effort from Sam Tompkins and gets the penalty.
It's a very tough environment, Eddie, for Sam Tompkins to start to try and make his Wigan career. Behind by 4 points, on the back of a 3-game losing streak, sort of under pressure really. Whoever plays half-back for Wigan after the glory decade that they had will always be scrutinised by the fans and compared with the likes of Andy Gregory and Sean Edwards. And I just hope that they have some patience, but he also has the confidence now to get involved and start to dictate the way that he wants this game to go.
Well, he's only 19, Sam Tompkins. It is his Super League debut tonight. He got 3 tries against Warrington's youngsters in a friendly in December, 5 tries on his debut against Whitehaven in the Challenge Cup last year. He is obviously a very big talent. They have high hopes of him. This, meanwhile, is Richards.
And Wigan seem to have a knack, don't they, bringing a young kid out, even scoring a hat-trick on his debut, as you mentioned, Eddie. It's good to see the youngsters being given the opportunity.
Castleford lead early against the Salford City Reds, 6-0. This is Tompkins now, stabs the kick beneath, between the legs of the Harlequins defence.
Good play
Matt
by
Gaffer
Matt.
waiting at dummy half as Melling plays the ball, furious that he didn't get the penalty for interference.
Great play by Chris Melling there. Just plotted it, knew that it was going to be a kick into the corner. So scientific these days, this game. It's there's no place to hide, no place to have a rest. It's non-stop. Good work from Danny Orr.
Good work from him and a tackle also from Sam Tompkins. Andy Coley could not take any part in that play. He'd been picked out by the referee as standing offside. There's Danny Orr. Well, that's a poor kick. Straight to Richards. He'll run it back. Only as far as Gaffer and Robinson. Amos Roberts plays the ball here to Luluai. He finds O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin, Andy Farrell's brother-in-law, isn't he? And watched tonight by the elder statesman in the stands, as we saw earlier. Not the best pass. Fielding couldn't get to it.
Let's play on.
Yes, play on, says the referee. Here's Will Sharp. Gets the ball away. John Wells. Powell gives it to Will Sharp.
Play on!
Difference between the two sides at the moment is the fact that...
Penalty.
Yeah, messing around. And about it, Garathock all over him. But the difference between the two sides, as far as I'm concerned, is that Harlequins are finding it quite easy to get over the advantage line. Quick play the ball, they're catching this Wigan defence out. Whereas Wigan, they just seem a little bit sluggish, Mark.
Yeah, they're sluggish, but two of the most important things in rugby league, possession and field position, and Wigan are struggling on both of those. The minute they get down there, before they can mount some pressure, the Quins are back down here. They're allowing them too much easy yardage. They need to man up, get up there, some aggressive defence and attack this side, or this game could be gone.
I was wondering before the match whether Harlequins might just suffer from a little bit of lack of match practice. Remember the game against Bradford, which was brought forward to accommodate the Manly fixture. That was postponed here because of the Siberian winter that we suffered. So this is only their second match of the season. And this is Howell. He's trying to offload there in an impossible situation. And is it a Wigan knock-on? No, it isn't. It's Wigan head and feet at the scrum.
Well, there's no advantage given to Wigan there, and that's the reason why the French referee has decided to put the scrum down. But it was a bit foolish of David Howell trying to offload there, because the positional sense was what it's all about.
Guys, use your foot for the play.
I suppose in many ways, if it stays like this to half-time, I think that Brian Noble will be quite happy, because the amount of times that Harlequins have made a good break down their left-hand attacking side, he'll be happy. He's only 4 points adrift.
George Carmont driving it forward again for Wigan as we enter the last minute of this first half. Harlequins ahead 10-6. This is Ainscoe, the scorer of the Wigan try. To do a forward roll there, and needed to as well, because his head was dangerously trapped on the deck. Hock was looking to offload.
Play on.
And it came off the foot of O'Loughlin, so he's allowed to carry on. That's the last tackle here.
Danny with me back then. Okay, play on.
Tim Smith will dink it down the line. Wells is after it. Smith is the man leading the chase on Wells. Well, he'll be satisfied, but he might have thought perhaps they could have a few more points in the bag here, the Quins.
I agree with you, Eddie. And Brian McDermott knows it, that perhaps a little bit just steady the ship, calm things down. They've just tried to offload when they've got anywhere near the Wigan line. Just a little bit too much.
There's the half-time siren. A very good first half of rugby league. Harlequins ahead by 10 points to 6. A couple of early errors from Fielden. Danny Orr with the goal-kicking responsibilities tonight. Randall's try and Gaffer's try, 2 in 2 minutes for Harlequins. After Ainscough, the youngster had scored a belter.